Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. So, a friend of the channel, Nick, was watching, what was it, last week? Whenever the heck I put up the video on the Super EZ, and I was talking about needing to find a West Coast muffler setup because I wanted to put the shield and all of that on there to go with the full wrap bar. So, wouldn't you know it, an email appears and he said, hey, I was digging through the bone pile and I think I found both types. Which one do you need? And he had the early style, and wouldn't you know it, it was in the mail today. So Nick, man, thank you. I really do appreciate it. It's going to be fun. So, let's go through this. What it's all about. So here's the standard muffler that was used for a lot of years on these saws. Just has little, punched holes, and it's blowing exhaust at the angle that they're at, just kind of down this way. So the West Coast setup, the idea was that you couldn't accidentally miss a spark. That was what they wanted. As you're cutting, no matter what, they wanted you to be able to see if you were creating a fire. Now, I guess if you're cutting way down at an angle like this, this could start blowing behind you. If you don't have good peripheral vision, perhaps it would have been possible to ignite something behind you and not know about it. So the West Coast muffler, they changed the louvers so that it blows exhaust just straight this way. So no matter what, even if you were cutting straight up and down, it would be blowing at your toes. Otherwise, it's blowing it this way. Good and bad, okay? So what that did is it absolutely got the exhaust blowing forward where you could keep an eye on it. Now, the bad, as far as I'm concerned, was two things. One, you've seen the Super EZ cover, the drive case cover, this whole logo just covered in soot and carbon and crap. Obliterated. The other thing is if it's blowing exhaust like that, when you're using the full wrap, it's going to be blowing the exhaust right onto your hand. Whoop. Okay. Right there, you're going to take a full hand of just exhaust, because it's got the shield that sticks out like this that's actually got the baffles on it to kind of deflect any direction but forward. And it's still got the openings on the side here so heat can escape. But yeah, so what I want to do is a hybrid. I did not want to do that. Before we get into that, whatever saw this came off of was badly adjusted and probably was running way too much oil. Look at the buildup in there. That is nasty. You look down the louvers. I wire wheeled this cover. This whole muffler assembly really ought to be blasted in the cabinet, and I will. But for now, like I said, I want to do a hybrid setup, and I want to see if we can run this cover that's already on there with the shield and get the best of both worlds, because it'll make it look Western. And if somebody didn't know any better, so those holes in that cover aren't drilled to the right size for those spacers. So should I do it? What do you think, folks? I gotta take the time to clean that cap up and just do what I should be doing. I think that's what I'll do. We'll come back. Okay, so I guess you guys ought to know by now with me that I'm not going to do some half-donkey horse manure. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So these parts went into the blaster and were cleaned out appropriately. All the carbon blown off. What am I doing here? There we go. I really get frustrated when I see a muffler that's carboned up this bad, just because I know it shouldn't be. It doesn't need to be. There's no reason for it other than a badly tuned saw or just a complete overdoing it on the oil. I just can't put it any other way. That's what it is. Okay. That will stay put. We'll grab the other piece here. There we go. So that should just thread right down. Yeah, baby. Okay. You might have guessed by the way I was holding that this paint is not dry. You might have guessed that. But that's okay. I wanted to at least get it on so I could finish this video. I'm not going to run it right now. I want the paint to dry. It says for a minimum of an hour before heating, so I want to do that. Got the spark arrestor in there now that I wanted. Thank you again, Nick, for the whole thing. Really, thank you. This is exactly, had this saw been equipped from the factory with a full wrap handle of the Western package, this is what it would have looked like. So to try and deal with the carbon issue, one, I'm going to tune my carburetor correctly. I'm running a correct mix. I'm not going to go there. I just won't go there. But the other thing is I put my best polymer-based paint protectant on this cover here. So it's got a nice coat on. And I think if I clean this thing at the end of each day, that should prevent any buildup. And if I keep it tuned, that'll also help. But anyway, there it is. Western muffler, Western wrap handle. Next time I get up to the firewood hill to do something, this bad boy's going along.